This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. Culture, or the way of life, is attributed to an individual's personality and makes them who they really are. Self-awareness emphasizes the significance of an individual to exist and is attributed to social views and practices. It defines individual characteristics and contributes to the diversity of people in the world, making life interesting. Culture and personal identity relate closely and are dependent on each other. The construction of identities is within the individual in relation to a particular historical background and organization. This paper shall explore the personality trait explained above and explain culture's contribution. Cultural influence on personality identity. The vibrant Indonesian culture is ethnic and is also being influenced by countries such as China and India, which neighbor it. Cultural identity is marked by the influence of the family, regional, and religious aspects. For instance, I am a mixture of Chinese and Indonesian, born in Indonesia and have lived there my entire life. My family background is relatively humble, although my parents provide for my basic needs. However, luxuries are not always present when needed. With hard work, the family is better than before since the parents have worked extra hard to make ends meet. Nevertheless, the initial financial constraints that my family experienced contributed to my personality. I have come to be known as a girl of a low profile since my cultural background has dictated so. I have learned to save money and use it on important things only. In addition, I've learned to share with others and not become self-engrossed, an image I always portray to my parents, friends, and society. This has made me and the whole family relate well with others. Chinese Indonesians' culture in relation to personal identity. Chinese Indonesians are an ethnic minority whose culture is heterogeneous. They have been categorized into Totok and Peranakan. Since Peranakan have their birthplace as Indonesia, they are identified with the ethnic regions of Indonesia, and they disregard their Chinese origin. In contrast, the book has a lesser Indonesian orientation. Instead, they are more Chinese since they or their parents were born in China. Another distinction is in the commercial activities undertaken by the groups. Totok Group is geared toward achieving business success and accumulating wealth. Thus, this is reflected in their self-reliance, investment approach, and prowess, which are aspects that have greatly influenced my identity. As a book, I practice a significant cultural value known as the guanxi. It is a concept that points out that for one to succeed, he or she should relate with people who matter, and one must harmonize with the environment instead of altering it. For instance, through his personal and financial connections with government officials, particularly Suharto, whom he befriended long before he became Indonesia's president, Lim Sio Leong amassed a multi-billion-dollar importer that encompassed the manufacturing of cement and steel, automobile distribution. The example emphasizes the aggressiveness of the book, which in turn has taught me to avoid being self-centered but instead count on others in every activity I undertake in life. On the other hand, the Peranakan base their engagements on merit and hence are not very successful in Indonesian commercialism. Therefore, being a Totok means that the culture has dictated my hardworking nature and, most significantly, my networking and social nature. This has, in turn, affected my personality of being considerate of others and avoiding being self-centered. How am I shaped and influenced by culture? Religious aspects, social environment, and distinct originality have strongly affected my identity. Being a Chinese Indonesian, I have learned the proper use of money and resources in order to become successful in life, contributing to my identity of being low profile. The family is a significant institution based on the cultural values of Chinese Indonesians. Family ties are maintained and preserved by the practice of norms such as marriage, which ensures solidarity among members. It is the role of the parents to teach their children proper manners in life, and both of my parents have correctly implemented this in a strict way, enabling me to follow the rules and regulations set in various areas quite easily. The family unit is relevant to set a good example for the children and ensuring happiness in marriage. Marriage is one cultural value that Chinese Indonesians highly regard. Indonesian culture is very categorical on religious morals, which are elements reflected in the entire society and, more specifically, by my trait of putting others ahead of me and sharing my resources with them. I believe that sex before marriage is a vice that is forbidden by my culture, which helps maintain an environment where children can grow well, become educated, and attain a high degree of moral standards. Being a Muslim country, it is also under the influence of other religions, such as Buddhism as well as Hinduism, which may as well have played a part in my identity. Its cultural richness is depicted in the country's art and theater work, such as dances and music. Conclusion. My economic background, family relations, and ethnic distinctions have contributed significantly to the personality trait of being a low-profile person who is considerate of others. Moreover, belonging to a Chinese Indonesian ethnicity means that I have interacted with several cultures. A multicultural interaction may have similar or contradicting effects on personal identity, which are reflected in my personality, making it hard to evaluate specifically whether I am of Totok or Peranakan origin. Nevertheless, the role played by my immediate family has guided me as I interact with the social environment around me. The culture has enabled me to be identified in society as a low-profile woman. This does not only help to deliberately avoid undue prominence, but also to exercise personal freedom and acceptance. Did you like this How Does Culture Affect the Personal Identity sample? To get more works like this one, make sure to check out the database of academic paper examples at ivypanda.com. You will find thousands of samples for all your study needs.